You ever hear a story so strange, so wrong that it stays with you? This one's been in my family for years. I never believed it, until I lived it. It started in the Appalachian Mountains, middle of nowhere. No neighbors, no cell service, just trees, silence, and rules. My uncle had 3. 1. Never whistle after dark. 2. Never go outside if you hear your name from the woods. 3. And if you ever see the man with no face, don't speak to him. I thought he was messing with me, until I broke rule number 3. I was 17, hiking alone, hot summer air, trails I knew like my own backyard. But the forest shifted, grew unfamiliar. Then it got quiet. No bugs, no birds, just wrong. And that's when I saw him, tall, thin, dressed in clothes older than memory. No eyes, no mouth, just smooth, pale skin where a face should be. And somehow, I knew he was watching me. I ran, didn't stop until I reached the cabin. And that night, the nightmares began. The next morning, I woke to a humming, low, rhythmic, from the woods. My uncle didn't flinch. "Don't talk back to it," he said. "Not if it speaks first." We went out to the ridge that day, past a deer standing upright, stiff, dead, eyes wide open. No wounds, just wrong. My uncle muttered, "Keep walking, it's trying to get your attention." And I realized we weren't alone. Something followed us, always in the corner of my eye. Too tall, too still, too smooth. That night, the humming returned, and footsteps outside my window. I looked. He was there, the man with no face, standing in the trees, unmoving, and somehow familiar, like he'd always been waiting for me. The next day, my uncle looked me dead in the eyes. "He's picked you now." He told me the Faceless Man wasn't a ghost, not a demon, something older, something that feeds on fear, on being noticed. "The second you see him," he said, "he sees you harder." I tried to leave, but the forest moved, closed in around the house, and when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see myself. I saw him, behind me. I ran. Branches tore at me, the woods looped. I passed the same tree 3 times, then the flashlight died. Footsteps behind me, a cold hand on my shoulder. "You see me now," he said, and I did. I saw what he was, the face behind nightmares. The reason the woods go silent after dark. He doesn't need a face, because he wears ours. My uncle's voice pulled me back. "Don't look at him, just come home." I ran toward the cabin, dove through a salt line he'd poured, and when I looked back, he was standing at the edge. His face was no longer blank. It was mine. That was 3 years ago. I moved away, never hiked again, but sometimes I still hear humming, and sometimes, in the mirror, I don't see myself.
You ever hear the saying, "The silence of the forest hides more than we can imagine"? I used to think it was just an old hunter's tale meant to scare kids, until the night it found me. My name is Livia Serrano, and if you're listening to this now, gathered around this fire, I have just one request. Don't look behind you while I speak, because it listens. And sometimes when someone speaks its name aloud, it comes. I was just a city girl when it all began. Didn't believe in legends, spirits, or forest monsters. But there's one thing you need to understand about Wendigos. They don't care if you believe in them or not. They only need you to be alone and afraid. And that night, I was both. It was supposed to be a simple weekend getaway. My friends and I, Camila, Josa, and Raphael, decided to escape the city's chaos and spend some time in the tranquility of the woods. We found a secluded cabin nestled deep within the pines, miles away from the nearest town. The first day was perfect. We hiked, laughed, and shared stories by the fire. The forest was serene, its silence only broken by the occasional rustle of leaves or distant bird calls. But as night fell, an unsettling stillness settled over the woods. That night, as we sat around the fire, Camila mentioned a local legend she'd heard from her grandmother, a tale of a creature that roamed these woods, preying on the lost and the greedy, a Wendigo. We laughed it off, attributing it to folklore meant to keep children from wandering too far. But deep down, a chill ran through me. The way the trees seemed to lean in, the sudden drop in temperature, it all felt off. The next morning, Joe was gone. His bed untouched, his belongings still in place. We searched the surrounding area, calling his name, but there was no trace. Panic set in. We decided to head back to the nearest town for help, but the path we'd taken seemed unfamiliar, twisted. That's when we heard it, a distant, guttural growl, followed by a whisper that seemed to echo from all directions, calling our names. As night approached, we took refuge in the cabin, barricading the doors and windows. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Shadows danced outside, and the temperature plummeted. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the window, tall, emaciated, with glowing eyes and antlers protruding from its head. It stared directly at me, its mouth moving in sync with the whispers. Camila screamed, and Raphael grabbed a flashlight, shining it towards the creature. It vanished, leaving behind a trail of frost on the window pane. We realized we were dealing with something beyond our understanding. The legends were true. The Wendigo was real, and it was hunting us. Camila recalled a part of the legend. The Wendigo feeds on isolation and fear. It mimics voices, lures victims into the woods, and once you hear it, it's already too late. We had to stay together, resist its calls, and find a way out. Determined to escape, we waited for daylight, but the sun never rose. The forest remained cloaked in darkness, time seemingly frozen. Raphael suggested we make a run for it, using the compass to guide us.
I ain't one to talk much, not these days. Folks around here say I've gone quiet since my wife passed, and maybe they're right. But some silences aren't about grief, some are about fear, real fear. The kind that doesn't go away with time, the kind that follows you, watches you when you think you're alone, and whispers when the wind dies down. If you've got a minute, I'll tell you why I don't go near my basement no more. This all started about 20 years back, give or take. My grandfather passed away and left me his old house up in the hills of Pine Hollow, a creaky, dust-covered thing that hadn't seen a fresh coat of paint since the 60s. Still, it was mine, and I needed a place to start over after the city chewed me up and spat me out. So I packed what little I had and made my way up there, thinking I was trading chaos for quiet. The house was cold, even in summer, the kind of chill that settled in your bones and stayed there. The floors groaned with every step, and the pipes talked more than they should have. But the strangest thing of all was the basement door. It was always locked. Heavy padlock, rusted like it had been there for decades. I asked a lawyer about it, and all he said was, "Your granddad was real particular about that room. Said it was better left alone." Well, I'm not the curious type, not usually. I left that door be, swept around it, painted over it, even tried to forget it was there. But at night, when everything else was quiet, I could hear, something. Not rats, not water, something that breathed. It started slow, just noises, now and then. Then came the dreams. Always the same. I'm standing at the top of the basement stairs, looking down, and there's something at the bottom. Something that moves. I'd wake up cold, sweating, heart pounding. Then, one night, I remember it clear as yesterday, I heard 3 knocks. Not random banging. 3 steady, deliberate knocks. Like someone, or something, was on the other side of that door, waiting. And then came the whisper. It said my name. I ain't heard my name spoken like that before or since. It wasn't just a voice. It was like the word itself was alive, crawling into my ears and rooting down inside me. I ran. Next morning, the lock was on the floor. Not broken, just ... open, like it had unlatched itself. That was the first time I saw the door cracked open, and it was dark in there. Not the kind of dark you get from a lack of light. This was a swallowing dark, thick and pulsing, like it didn't want light to come in. I didn't go in. God help me, I didn't. I just shut that door and nailed it shut. Crossed it with salt, crosses, prayers, whatever I could think of. I even slept with a Bible on my chest for a while. But the thing is, the knocking didn't stop. It's been 20 years. I still live in that house. Still sleep with one eye open. And every now and then, when the wind is still and the moon hangs low, I hear my name again from the basement. And I know, one day, I won't be strong enough to ignore it.